Good morning, ultimate hustlers and digital empire builders. It is that time for the Cortez Hustle Show. And today we've got another wonderful show lined up for you. We are talking to Janita Jackson from Infinite Potential Financial, all about small business finances, taxes. You got to get your money right in business, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to thrive. If we're going to build the type of institutions that hire our people, we got to get our money right. And we're going to talk all about that today. I can't wait to have this conversation because this is something that a lot of entrepreneurs are struggling with today. And she got some tips and strategies for your personal finances too. But we're talking to entrepreneurs today. So that's where we're going to focus our attention on today. So do me a huge favor, man. Comment in the chat where you're from. Drop the name of your business and or your brand and smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen. And let's kick it this morning. Yo, what's up, ultimate hustlers, and welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show, the business podcast for the entrepreneur of the 21st century. And I'm your host, Cortez Hustle. Our goal is to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how the world's greatest hustlers build amazing brands, scale their businesses to incredible heights, sell more, make more, and create mass movements that impact the world. It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned vet or you're sitting on the sidelines with aspirations to one day unleash your inner hustle. This show will provide the insights into how pure grit, determination, and hard work has morphed into some of the most iconic brands and personalities and how they are moving the culture forward. You'll get a mix of solo shows featuring yours truly, as well as interviews and content from other hustlers that I either know personally or I've learned from or whose grind I've come to know and respect. And you'll also get exclusive recordings from our membership called Monetize My Life Academy, which you can check out at monetizemylifeacademy.com. That's a program where we go live every month with some of the best hustlers on the planet, sharing best practices on how we all can explode our brands with advanced branding and marketing tactics, business development strategies, and financial game planning necessary to build the empires we all desire. Again, that's at monetizemylifeacademy.com. If you like today's episode, chances are the hustlers you're connected to will like it as well. Share it with those in your network. And when you do, use hashtag Cortez Hustle so I can see you and hopefully give you a shout out and share you in my stories. So check out today's episode and make sure you subscribe to the feed on your favorite podcasting networks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show. I am, of course, your host, Cortez Hustle, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur, coming to you live and direct from the Daily Hustle Studios right here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you're not familiar with the Daily Hustle, it is a program by Thornton Online Marketing where they literally provide you with social media content to your email box every single day, right? A lot of people, businesses, small businesses, entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants struggle with what to post on social, how often to post. I don't know what to post. They literally send you an infographic every day. They send you an affirmation and reflection every day, and a short video training on how to use that content. And they'll literally show you how to turn one piece of content into 10. So your daily posting can be done with just this one email. So to get on the list, all you got to do is text Daily Hustle to 314-730-3999. Again, text Daily Hustle to 314-730-3999 and get your social media content needs filled with online marketing. Today, we got Janita Jackson on from Infinite Potential Financial, and she's going to be talking about small business finances, from tax tips to business credit, everything that you need to know when it comes to money and business. This lady has the game on lock, and it's going down. So you do not want to miss this. In fact, smash that share button if you have not done so already. But a couple quick announcements before we get the party started. You guys know that every month we do a book of the month to help you with your marketing and your mindset around business. And this month's, the book of the month is From the Trash Man to the Cash Man by Myron Golden, one of the best sales coaches on the planet, ladies and gentlemen. This dude is so thorough in the way he delivers his training. You do not want to miss this. I'll grab the link and make sure that you guys have the link to this book, because you can actually get a free copy of it if you just pay for shipping. So if you want a free copy, put Cashman in the comments, and I'll make sure you get that link. But this is the book that we're going to be pulling from this month. Also, if you are in our Black Mastermind group, y'all know that our group, we provide 30 days of free social media content every single month. So be on the lookout for that. That is coming into the group as a post so that you guys go and get access to all of that. There's 30 infographics, 15 stories, there's memes, there's carousels. I mean, it is like if you need help with social media graphics, we provide you 30 plus graphics every single month. But you got to be part of the mastermind community. So comment mastermind if you need access to how to get into that private Facebook group. Last but not least, this Saturday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, we're doing our tribal lead generation automation workshop. It is 100% free. I'm going to show you the strategy that I use to pull leads from Facebook on a daily basis while at the same time building a tribe. If you are in business and you're not building a tribe, you are missing out on opportunities to have a continuous market for all of your products and services in the future. So I put a link into the show notes and the comments. All you got to do is click that link. Go ahead and sign up. We're going to do about 90 minutes, mostly Q&A. I used to call it digital marketing decoded, where I just provide digital marketing tips, but the slant is on lead generation because that's where a lot of businesses are struggling. They know their stuff. They just don't have enough people to talk to. So I'm going to help you with lead generation, how to automate it and do it in a way that your lead generation strategy compounds over time. So make sure you guys be on the lookout for that. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time for us to get rocking and rolling, man. Listen, when I read this young lady's bio, I'm like, man, you've got to come on the Cortez Hustle Show. We talk to entrepreneurs, and a lot of entrepreneurs struggle in the area of money. Sometimes we get caught up in running our business finances the way we run our personal finances. And according to all the publications, our personal finances aren't the best model for business finances. So I'm excited to present to some of you guys and introduce to others, Miss Janita K. Jackson. Good morning, sis. How are you this morning? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Cannot hear me. All right, give us a second, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to get this technical bug kicked out. Doesn't look like you are on mute. Give us a second, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll figure this out for you. Still can't hear me at all. I wonder if your earbuds went off. Let's see. All right. Well, I'm going to keep talking. So you can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, how are you, sis? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing extremely well. Before we get into who you are and what got you on this path to helping folks with their money, we start every episode of the Cortez Hustle Show with a quote of the day. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a quote that I picked up this morning as I was doing my morning routine. And if you have a favorite quote, you could share one of your favorite quotes, or you can just comment on this one and we'll go from there. So today's quote is from Marie Folio. She says, "Perfectionism will kill your dreams. It is the one thing that separates the winners from the wannabes in almost every area of life." And I can't tell you how many times I've let perfectionism stop me from launching something, doing something. And really, all perfectionism is a bougie way to say procrastination. That's all it is, right? So do you have a favorite quote, or do you want to chime in on that one?
You know what? I was going to share one, but that one was pretty powerful. I think that that all of your listeners need to actually pay attention to that one, because you have so many people that want to start a business and they come up with a million excuses. Oh, I don't have supporters, or I don't know how to start the business, or I don't know where to begin. And they literally talk themselves out of success. Or even the entrepreneurs, they want to launch something new or do something, but there's always, they talk themselves out of doing that because it's not perfect. And what a lot of people don't realize is that done at times is better than perfect. Launch it. Once you
Yes.
get it out there, you can tweak it. As entrepreneurs, when we launched our business, I mean, let's face it, everything wasn't perfect. Every entrepreneur has had an instance where you've had an interaction with a client, customer, and you learned something, right? That you need to go back and put in, okay, this client did this, so we need to start this policy, or this happened, so we need to implement this into the business to stop this from happening. But we were able to make those pivots because we were already in business. So do it. Done is better than perfect. Get it out there. We can perfect it while it's out there, adding zeros to your bank account, okay?
Yes.
Let's perfect it on the market.
Case in point, iPhone 1 versus iPhone 13.
There you go.
They were not like, come on, man. They put a lot of stuff in the iPhone 1. And when they launched it, people were like, I don't need that. And then people told them what they wanted, and iPhone 2 was a better version, right? But if they had waited, especially with the speed of technology, until they can get everything perfect, we wouldn't have an iPhone. No, they knew that mug was buggy. They knew it was glitchy. They knew that, hey, I'm going to put it out and we're going to fix it later. I'm going to make it better. I'm going to make it better. And I think that's to your point, entrepreneurs are trying to make the first iteration better. And you can't do that without the public feedback, right? You got to put it out first, then let the public give you the feedback, then
perfect it. Yeah.
Love it. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, was the quote of the day right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, brought to you by infinitepotentialfinancial.com. Go to the website. She's got a lot of tools and resources to help you grow your business. So, Janita, I ask everybody who comes on the Cortez Hustle Show the same question. So I'm going to ask it to you. And the question is this, my friend. Who the heck are you?
Oh, wow. Who the heck am I?
Yes.
Well, I'm Janita K. Jackson. No, I'm just kidding. But I am the only child of my mother, Corinne Jackson, and I am one of four of my father, my late father, Glenn Jackson. So I was primarily raised in Chicago, Illinois. I would say probably until about the age of 9, where we moved to the outer suburbs. So I went from like the north side in like a high rise to the south suburbs of Illinois. And that is where I grew up. I graduated from Thornridge High School. And I think my first, my senior year of high school, I was always kind of mature. So my senior year of high school, my counselor actually said, hey, I think that you would benefit from, it was called the Human Success Program. And they actually allowed me to finish my senior year of high school and college. So I was kind of able to like escape early. I still was able to, of course, participate in like prom activities and everything when it was time for me to graduate. But it just allowed me to start college a little bit early because even as a child, I think because of the way that I was raised, and let me say this, my parents were very much so aware of my intellect at an early age. And with that came, with great talents comes great responsibilities.
Yes.
So failure was never an option for me, right? Getting a C was not even an option for me. My parents was like, look, you're an honor roll student, you're a high honor roll student. And when you come home with those report cards, that's what it needs to say. So they actually drilled that into me at an early age. And it's funny because you kind of, with those expectations, I've always been the type of child, because you have those. I don't like B's. I like getting A's. I like excelling. That's me as an individual. So that was part of my core personality anyway. So, I mean, when my mom said, I'll pay you for your grades, it was just like, okay, well, it's time to break the bank then. You gonna pay me?
Right.
let me go ahead and run up this tab real quick on you every quarter. So I would say that my experience, I was just a little bit more mature. I didn't like drama. I didn't really want to, I'm not going to say that I wasn't popular because I had lots of friends, but I just didn't like the drama of high school. I didn't like the messiness, I could say. The social media, not the social media, let me say this, the reality TV aspect of high school, I didn't care for when I was in high school. Because everybody knows that's what it was, you know, football players, cheerleaders, the gossiping, the telling other people's business. I just didn't. Let me go over here. So that aspect of it was pretty cool. At first, I don't think I wanted to go away from home at all. especially because I was my mother's only child and I was my father's eldest in the US. Let me say it just like this. Because I have an older brother in Germany that I'm actually looking for. So I don't know if he knows about me or my dad, but I mean, if he's out there, Sis looking for you, okay?
There we go. Well, we're putting it out there. Big brother for Janita in Germany.
Somewhere in Germany. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And your dad was in the military when you were conceived. I'm looking for him. But that aspect of it, at some point, my dad moved to Georgia, and that kind of like transitioned another part of my life because I was born and raised in Chicago at the point. We went places like we would go to Mississippi or we would go to like Washington, D.C., but I was younger when I was traveling then. And so the first thing that I can remember when my dad moved to Georgia and I went to visit him, actually he bribed me. He was like, I was at home with my mom. I was working like 2 jobs, going to like the local little community college. And my dad said, why don't you come to Georgia? What's in Georgia, Daddy? He said, well, I got a Mercedes Benz down here for you to drive. And I looked out the window at the little Corolla or Benz. Corolla or Benz. You know what, Daddy? I think I need to come visit. But the wonderful thing about Georgia was that when I first went to visit, I was immediately filled with an overwhelming sense of peace because there's a lot of greenery in Georgia. And I was only 19. Yeah. But even at that age, we also have, like, of course, like most people, we have Blackfoot Indian, Cherokee Indian in our bloodline. And so all of the greenery and all of like the nature that was just like left unchecked made me feel so peaceful. I immediately wanted to move down because it was so different from the hustle and bustle of the city that I was used to.
Yeah, Chicago's fast paced, concrete everywhere. Like
very much so. Yeah. And then, you know, also it's like, let's face it, like you always almost have to be on your guard because even somebody complimenting you may not necessarily be a compliment. I could say, oh girl, I like your outfit. I really hate your outfit. My friends know I hate your outfit. I told them that I hated your outfit 3 seconds before I came up to you to tell you that I liked your outfit. So it's an insult, but I'm camouflaging it like it's a compliment. So it's kind of funny because when I first got to Georgia and everybody was happy, like I had to actually adjust to Southern hospitality because they'd be like, hey y'all, like, do I know you?
like, no, that's a real thing and it's real genuine. Like when they say hi, they really want to know you. They really want you to say hi back. It's not a flippant thing.
But when you talk about like the culture of the city that you're used to, people in Chicago just don't walk up to you and say, hey y'all, how y'all doing? So I had to adjust. So I had to make an adjustment to that.
Right. Yeah.
In real life. But like over time, I adjusted and I began to realize, okay, these are genuine people and these are genuine instances and genuine actions. And so I never left. I went to Kennesaw State. My mother got upset because I never came home. She actually is a retired Cook County sheriff now. She was working at Cook County Department of Corrections then. She expected me to go to college like most kids and then come back home, especially because I was her only child. Right. But listen, when I got down to Georgia and I was just like, wait a minute, it don't snow everywhere in the U.S.? So you mean the snow in Chicago is just disrespectful on purpose?
Yes.
Like no one ordered you, asked for you. You just gonna slush up the side of my cars and make it look ashy on a good day. 2.5 seconds after I got it washed. So I'm not gonna be able to go back there. I don't want to go back.
That windshield off the lakes is going.
Like Michigan,
that hawk ain't no joke.
Exactly. That good hawk. That good hawk is absolutely no joke. And so I never left Georgia. I did not go back home. I felt like a Southern belle. Mama, I'm just gonna forge a life for me and my family. My future family down here in the South. I, ma'am, am a Southern belle. They have adopted me. They have embraced me. I'm an official peach now.
I love it. So as you made that transition, right, in the South, how close to Atlanta? Because that's where it seems like a lot of Black people migrate to for new starts, different culture, especially a lot of entrepreneurs. I know that they are top 3 in Black-owned businesses in that area. So were you in that area or different parts of Georgia?
No, we actually were in Cherokee County, so I was in Woodstock, Georgia.
Okay.
And it's probably about like 45 minutes from Atlanta.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
Everyone in Georgia knows nothing in Georgia is close. Almost everything in Georgia is like 30 minutes away. It's like a 30, 45-minute drive. So it wasn't, and because I'll say this, because my mother raised me, I was raised in Dalton, Illinois. So Dalton is like right on the outskirts of Chicago, but I developed a comfortability because of my upbringing with being on the outskirts. I don't have to be or live in the city. I'm perfectly okay with being on the outskirts because that provides me with the ability to be able to travel into Atlanta. But if Atlanta is getting a bit too much for me, I can always travel back to the outskirts.
In hot Atlanta.
Yeah, too hot in hot Atlanta. I can always transition on home. So we were about 45 minutes out, and Kennesaw State University was located in Kennesaw, Georgia. Another one of the things they had that absolutely sold me on the university was they actually developed their dorm rooms almost like small apartments. So my dorm room, I actually had a personal bathroom in my dorm room. We could lock our dorm rooms. The only common area that we shared was actually like the living room, the kitchen, and the patio. So even at that age, I was provided with like privacy almost, preparing you for adulthood as compared to what we see on TV where everybody's in a little bit room. You come out to a common hall and you have to go to like a community shower.
Community shower. Yep. That was my experience. Love it. Well, we're going to continue this conversation because as you know, I like people to understand that, people come into entrepreneurship from all kinds of walks of life. And I don't want you to think that because you got a college background or you don't have a college background, because you grew up in a big city or you didn't grow up in a big city, none of that matters. You can find yourself following a dream or passion into the world of entrepreneurship. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. So we're going to transition to that on the other side of this segment. But this is where I love to do 1 minute motivation. It's where I'm going to play a short motivational clip, normally 60 to 90 seconds or so. I'm just going to ask you to give a takeaway. The audience usually comments a takeaway or two, those who are watching us live this morning. So we're going to get into 1 minute motivation this morning. I think I got some Will Smith queued up. So this is 1 minute motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show.
I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. He's trying, at a point in his life, he's trying to make a transformation. He's trying to make a change. I just noticed how many times he talked about the things he liked and didn't like. He was talking about his needs and his aversions. Basing what you do on what you like and what you don't like is what got you the life you have. Our likes and dislikes are based on our parents and based on bad habits. So I was suggesting removing like and dislike from the decision-making process and asking yourself, is something right and is something true? For example, somebody talked to you in a way that you don't like. You may not like how the person talked to you, but it's of a greater benefit for you to ask yourself, is what they're saying right? Is it true? So right perception is what is going to get you right actions. Having an experience in this world that is enjoyable is going to be based on right perception, that you see things correctly, and then you choose right actions based on that right perception. Just because you like something doesn't make it right. Just because something hurts doesn't make it wrong. So I think people mistake likes and dislikes for intuition. I am suggesting that we pay less attention to what we like and what we don't like, and we ask ourselves what is right. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Cool. I don't know if you got the same chills I got, but the reason I love doing this, especially when I have a guest on, is because we all just listen to the same clip. But based on what we are in life, we all heard something very different. So what did you hear, sis?
To be honest with you, I really heard him speaking to the core being of not even just myself, but individuals. And I heard almost echoes of conversations that I've had within the past few days, talking to people. And I'm not even saying business, but just relationship wise. They're speaking on likes or, oh, but I love this person, but are they right for you? Because you can love somebody and they cannot be right for you. You know, meth heads love meth. It's not right for them. Crackheads love cocaine. It's not right for them. It's not good for them. And so just really challenging individuals, it's almost like he's speaking the truth. In the last couple of days, yes, you need love, but you also need to make sure that it's good for you, that it's bringing out the best in you. And that's what he's saying. Sometimes your likes or your dislikes, what you grew up with, what you don't like, we are sometimes a product of our upbringing. Yeah, and that's when people talk about breaking those chains. Like we have to break those chains. Sometimes you may like the way that your parents parented you, but that doesn't mean that it was the correct way. You may like the way that you're doing things, but that doesn't mean that you're doing things right. So challenging yourself to move outside of your comfort zone, to learn something different, to be something different. Because a lot of us also come from, even the entrepreneurs now, we come from the generation before us where our parents didn't like when we decided to become entrepreneurs because it was different from what they were doing. They were like, no, you need to go to school and get a good job and work for 40 years so you can retire with a pension because that's something that's going to be there and present for you. You need pension.
Right.
You need that. And we're like, I don't like that.
Right.
I don't like that plan. I don't like how this makes me feel. So it's just so many different things. What I heard him saying was fight to be true to the person that you are, to do what's good for you. Even if you have to learn new habits or develop new characteristics, new traits, it's okay.
Yeah.
And it's okay if the people around you don't like it while you're doing it. Because they may not.
You're not always gonna like it. They not always gonna like it.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started trying to get healthy, right? And I would do my juices and I would do my smoothies and I would put the broccoli and the greens and all this stuff in it. And people like, man, you really drink that stuff? I'm like, well, if you think about it, I don't necessarily like it, but I didn't like drinking cognac and vodka and all that stuff either, but I was after a particular effect. So whether I liked it or not, I wanted the effect. Well, the same thing is when I eat healthy and when I drink my green juice, I don't particularly like it, but I'm going after a particular effect. Okay. So I think you don't always have to like the process. But do you want the result?
Results.
If you want the result, then you got to learn how to put up with the process, whether you like it or not. Is the process right for you to get the result that you want, whether you like it or not? And that's what I got out of it. It's like, man, listen, what you like is what you got right now. That's what got you here. You only did the things that you liked. And based on that, where are you today? And are you satisfied? I'm like, nope. So why not start doing, instead of doing the things you like, do the things that are right to get the result that you want. So good stuff, good stuff. Mark Preswood said, amen, brother and sister. So that is 1 minute motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show. Again, brought to you by the Tribal. You guys got to get this. I'm telling you, this Saturday it's going down. Tribal lead generation automation. I'm going to show you how to use Facebook for not just fun and games, but if you're an entrepreneur and you're not extracting leads consistently off Facebook, building a tribe around your brand on Facebook, and you would like to learn that, click on the link in the show notes and the description to sign up this Saturday. I'm going to introduce you to the entire system, the entire formula, and I'm going to show you how to generate leads, not only instantly, but also my strategy will compound over time so that you consistently have people to talk to about your business. You keep your calendars full. That's what we're going to be talking about with this weekend's Tribal Lead Generation Automation. So, Janita, we're talking about your going from Chicago to Georgia, a little bit of a cultural shock, but you adjusted well. You became a Southern Belle, right? But then you got through school and that kind of stuff. What was the transition? Did you go straight into business for yourself? Did you go into the corporate world? how did you start making that transition into adulthood?
No. So when I was younger, I was a bookworm and I wanted to be like my mom. And my mother, she graduated from Loyola University with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. And
Mm-hmm.
so with me being a bookworm, the bookshelf at my house had psychology books on it, criminal
Mm-hmm.
law books on it. And,
Right.
of course, like it has some classics now, some Hamlet, some Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I grew up reading. And so I
Mm-hmm.
always wanted to go to college and I wanted to go into the criminal justice field. And I wanted to be not even just like my mom, but like my dad too, because my dad actually was a Cook County sheriff as well. So I felt like
Mm-hmm.
law enforcement was in my veins. I was just born, just going to the
Gotcha.
brick. That you can tell me nothing. So
Yeah.
when I got down to Georgia, it was funny because I remember going to like the Cherokee County, I think the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office, and I went through their trial and I went through the whole application process, and it's strenuous with any like law
Mm-hmm.
enforcement agency. Like they want you to take a physical agility test, they want you to take a psychological test, like they have testing for everything.
Yeah.
And they told me that I needed more experience. They said, "Well, go get 2 or 3 more years of experience, and then come back to us." And at first, I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" I just graduated from school, right? I have
Mm-hmm.
my bachelor's, like I passed the agility test, I passed the
Mm-hmm.
credit check, I passed the psychological, but they're still like, oh, and at the time I was only 23, I think 22,
Mm-hmm.
23.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, you know what? I was 22. So I guess
Mm-hmm.
that's what they meant. I needed more experience before they were
Mm-hmm.
willing to hire me. So
Go live a
that
little bit.
led,
Go live a little bit and then come back.
I know, right? Like, so that actually led someone to say, well, why don't you just try for the juveniles? The juveniles? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
What's that? And so I ended up applying for was Marietta Regional Youth Detention Center is where I
Mm-hmm.
applied. And they
Okay.
hired me, even though I was young. And it was funny because when I first got hired, I literally was just like only maybe like 5 years older than some of the kids
Mm-hmm.
because they were 17 and I'm
Yeah.
23. They didn't know that though. They didn't know
Right.
that. So I started working in the jail. So I went to Basic Juvenile Corrections Academy. When I told them about my mother, because she used to be a academy trainer for the
Mm-hmm.
Cook County Corrections, and so
Gotcha.
I already knew self-defense because she used to
Mm-hmm.
come home and practice on me. By the time I was 13 years old, I was actually able to flip somebody twice my body weight. Shout out to my cousin Maurice. But I was able to flip somebody, grown man now, like twice my body weight, like overhead. And I already knew like several levels of self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my
Gotcha.
interview, I remember the assistant director of security said, well, those last 2 that your mother taught you, you can't use them here. And it was just like, okay, well, as long as I'm thinking, they'll
Mm-hmm.
be okay. So
Right.
they don't ever
Right.
need to put me into a position where I go on autopilot, because if I go on autopilot, then my body is going to move without me.
That's right. That's right.
So I started working at Marietta Regional Youth Detention Center, and I actually, that's actually where I had the best supervisor. His name, well, he may not want me to say his name though, right? But I had the best supervisor ever. And our staff, I worked the afternoon shift, it was called Bravo shift. Our
Mm-hmm.
staff was like a big family. So going to work was almost like hanging out with your family every day, outside of the fact that we had, the juveniles that we had to monitor, to transition from here to there. And then,
Mm-hmm.
of course, we had lockdown showers, different things that we had to do throughout the year. And then, of course, trying to speak life into them on the daily. I will say this. I love the time that I had there because at the time I was also a mom. My daughter was 2, going on 3 when I started working for Marietta. And there were several things that happened, all of them on the female unit with little girls, that made me realize things that I needed to do and or change or to never do as a parent. And so I was grateful for those life experiences. I was grateful for those little girls that were talkative about how their mom talked about their dad in front of them and how that affected them. So that let me know as a mom, okay, well, it doesn't matter if my daughter, if me and my daughter's father never get along. I'm never going to talk negative about him in front of her, because watching those little girls and how it affected them, right?
Yeah.
You realize that's always going to be half of who she is, no matter how you feel.
Yeah.
And it was another little girl where I think her mom had married somebody and told her that the husband was her dad. And she didn't find out until like years later that that was her stepdad, and that, her real dad found her later. And it was crazy because at that time I had separated from my child's father, and the gentleman who I was talking to is exactly what he wanted me to do. I'll take her. She'll be my baby. Just tell her I'm the father. And it's just like, no, absolutely not. Have a Mari moment. You are not the father. And that's not what I'm telling her. And seeing that little girl and how she was dealing with having all that news at 17, it really let me know that I was on the right path. So just as much as I was trying to pour into them from a parent perspective, I was also doing a lot of learning because my baby was younger.
I got you, man. That's amazing. And life has this way of preparing us. And if you're in tune, right? Like you were very much in tune with, I'm here for them, but they're teaching me as much as I'm teaching them. I'm learning as many lessons from them as they're trying to impart, as I'm trying to impart lessons into them as well. So what was it like when you went from that situation? When did it dawn on you that you wanted to become an entrepreneur and do your own thing, right? How long did you stay in corporate before you made that transition?
So I was a part-time entrepreneur for years. And that was because for me, it supplemented my income. So I started learning about taxes even when, like right after I had my daughter. It took for me, listen, Linda, listen. It took for me to go into Jackson Hewitt one time when I first had my daughter, and for them to give me an estimate one time and me to see how the experience was, and I decided immediately I didn't like it. I decided immediately I didn't feel like a person. I just felt like they just really wanted my money. I felt like they really didn't care about the transaction, and it's just like, I'm sitting here with my baby birth certificate. You better care. So I immediately left, and I started studying taxes. I started studying the tax system. I started studying tax laws because I just wanted to just be able to do it by myself. I didn't want them to help me, but I also wanted to be able to do it correctly in a way that would be able to, where I would be able to maximize the amount of deductions and or credits that I was eligible for, based off of the income that I was generating at the time. So I taught myself how to do taxes.
I love that. And this is important for people to hear, because I wrote a book called Monetize My Life, right? 4 incredibly simple ways to turn your passions into profit with little to no startup cost. And oftentimes people don't see, like, you got a passion, you got an expertise, you've got something that you love to do, but in your case, an experience was able to be the spark that got you into an entrepreneurial mindset. Like, wait a minute, you know what? I can take and learn the same skill that I was about to go pay them $300, $400, $500 to do for me. I can learn this skill myself and make sure that I'm solid, and I don't got to worry about dealing with negative customer service, and I can just do this on my own. So I love that aspect. So you went that route and you learned that. So did you start at that point? Did the word get out that, hey, Janita can do your taxes, right? Or how did you?
Just like the typical person, right?
Right.
I was doing my taxes and talking about my returns, and can you do my taxes? The one friend, can you do my taxes? Huh? I ain't never did nobody else's. I'm just doing my own. So just that one person, of course, and then of course, everything that an entrepreneur goes through in the beginning, problem pricing. I promise you, initially when I was doing taxes, I was only charging $75 because to me, it's just like, but listen, with the knowledge that I had, I'm getting clients back like way more than what they're getting for H&R Block, and then charging way less. And I probably only had one friend at the time that was just like, I'm not paying you that. I'm paying you more because because this is what we would have paid this company. And so I had that. When I speak on like having confidence on pricing, I went through that too, and I understand, because when you first start doing something as an entrepreneur, or when you first engage in that task, it's like, well, what do I charge for my worth? I had a bachelor's degree, but I didn't go to school to be a CPA. It's funny when you talk about that. I didn't even like math in school. in high school because I was one of those children. I loved English, and they kind of tell you if you love English, you're not that good in math, and if you love math, usually you're not that good in English. It's usually never both. So for me to in college though, I told myself that I love both because I wanted my A's. I wanted my B's.
Right.
Yeah, I wanted my A's.
And
so in college, I actually
with I think the reason that is, and they got to stop saying that, right? And I know it's a left brain, right brain thing, but also when you can't make a connection to real life when it comes to math, if I can't tie math to real life, then I'm not interested. If I can't tie English to real life, I'm not interested. But if you tell me that your poor English skills is going to make you misread this contract, instead of you earning $1 million, you're going to earn $100,000. Now that's a real life situation. And I gotta, like, if you tell me that I can't build this robot unless I learn these algebraic phrases and equations, then if I love robotics, I'm going to learn it because it's now tied to a real thing.
Tied to something that I love. Yeah.
Now math became tied to you doing taxes. And now it's like, okay, let me understand.
This is my language.
Yeah.
But even before that, when I was in college and I said, you know what, I'm not going to tell myself that I hate math just because I love English. I got all A's in my math classes. Yeah. And so for me, it was almost like, okay, well, was I doing that to myself? Just like a placebo pill. Was I the one that was telling myself that I was bad at math because I loved English? Because I'm a creative. I'm a writer. So like I can devour a book and then spit all the words back out at you. There were like little Olympic trials at my school in reading, and I have like a series of gold medals because you could not outread me or outrecite me on giving you back what was just read when I was younger. So because of that, I just always thought that, math is gonna be my weak spot because I just love
and then when you have adults in your life helping you to reinforce that belief, don't worry about it, that's natural. English people tend to struggle in math, and math people tend to struggle. So you're starting to think that about yourself,
into myself.
And then the adults around you are saying, "Oh, don't worry about it. That's just how it goes." Like, no, I can be great in math and English. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So the part-time entrepreneurship, the whole time that I actually worked for the Department of Juvenile Justice, it supplemented my income. Some people say that you've made it when you get a state job. Not in Georgia.
But I love that. And I came from a program where that was one of the things that we taught. It's like, if you want one of the best positions to be in this economy, especially for Black and brown people and other people who are living in poverty, is to have a full-time job and a legit side business, because it gives you the tax write-offs of an entrepreneur and a steady paycheck of an employee. And if you know how to do the right thing with your money, you can build some serious wealth. Right? So we taught that. I've been teaching that for the last 7 years. Right. But a lot of people are quick to want to be a full-time entrepreneur. So they're quick to quit their job. And it's like, no, quitting that job means you quit your funding source of your business. And people miss that. So part-time, you got your clients coming in.
I was part-time. I had my clients coming in, building them up over the years. And so I even had a little office that was like not that far from my regular office. And so, and then of course I sought promotions. I didn't want to stay in the jail. Things were getting those youth was getting a little bit rough. And I had a couple of officers that I knew who were injured, and that put things into a different perspective. Yes, I love what I do, but I'm not trying to get injured on the job and have an injury that I'm going to have to live the rest of my life with because of this particular field. So I transitioned to working in the probation side of the Department of Juvenile Justice in Georgia. And I was working in probations for 6 years, so definitely different atmosphere. I was a juvenile probation parole specialist 2 for a couple of years. And then after that, I received a promotion to a 3, where I was a supervisor over the office. And the hierarchy of the office was like, it was a manager, me, and then the rest of the staff. And I did that up until I transitioned into full entrepreneurship. And I call it a line in the sand moment. For me, I had 2. Because the whole time I was part-time. But I was one of those people that worked, and I'm saying this so if your listeners are hearing this, they can know that it's meant for them to do something else. people would walk into my office and they would talk to me for about 5 minutes and they would be like, why are you here? You don't belong here.
Yeah.
And what do you mean? I was comfortable because I worked 2 miles from my house. And I worked in the town that I lived in. So work was very comfortable. You know, you work 2 miles from home. I got to the point where I could do my job with my eyes closed and my hands tied behind my back. I was comfortable, but people kept on saying, like, you're not meant to be here. You're meant to do something else. I wasn't paying them no attention because I was comfortable. Like, how do you get rid of comfortability? Especially when you have your family. You know, my mom and dad at the time, you know, don't quit that job, you keep that job. That's your pension. You need them paychecks. And my dad was sick. It was several things that happened. It was a couple of times I was supposed to take my daughter to Disney. Well, they rescinded my vacation at the last minute because I was a supervisor. We were short-staffed. That was one of the moments. That was just like, not liking y'all. My dad was sick. And there were several times that I would be ready to just leave and go see him because they have leave for that. You know, you can take sick leave to go take care of your parents. But my mom would be like, oh, you know, just stay work. I'll go check on your dad. I'll make sure he's fine because she knew that I'm a daddy's girl. So when I say I would tear something up over my daddy, I'll go flip a hospital upside down and inside out by my daddy. So she didn't want me to go up there and show my tail about my daddy. But he passed away suddenly in 2017. December 2017. And when he passed away, that job, and you see how I said it, that job actually thought that I was gonna bury my daddy and then come back to work the same week. I don't know who they thought that they had.
Yeah. Those moments.
Staff, but it was not me. And so I went out for a little while, but when I came back, the way that they were acting, I thought about every time that I could have went to go see my dad, every time I could have went to be by his side, and every time that I picked that job over my father, and I thought about how they were acting, the things that they were saying, and then what they tried to do.
Yeah.
And it was just like, you know what? This ain't me no more. I felt like I can't put this job back on no more. It don't fit. It's not my size.
Yeah.
This job is not my size anymore. I gotta go. I gotta go because I can't with you guys anymore. And then that's when I jumped. I leaped in the middle of grieving. I tell people consistently, my story is a little bit differently. I had no business starting a business in the middle of grieving my father. I promise you. I promise you. I was in the middle of grieving. But because I am my father's daughter, understand that if anything that I do, I'm going to make sure that it gets done.
Yeah.
So that for me was that was my breaking point. My dad passed and the way that they tried to act.
And I'm watching and have watched over the last 2 years, the same thing happen with COVID. I'm seeing how like Chris Brown, these jobs ain't loyal, man. They want you to come into the office when somebody else has been infected with COVID and they're saying, hey, just keep your distance. And they don't know what situation I got going on at home. I come into the office, I get COVID. I got an elderly parent. I got a newborn baby. I got I'm watching how this ain't right, y'all. And especially after they've shown the propensity to be profitable while people were working from home. So why rush people back to the office if people can successfully work? It's crazy. So I'm enjoying this testimony that you said, you know what? I got to put me first, and I can do that through the power of entrepreneurship, even though it's not going to be easy. That goes back to the 1 minute motivation. I may not like it, but it's the right thing to do if I want to own and control my time.
Yeah, and then other people didn't like it because when it happened, you know, the trajectory was my dad passed December 13th of 2017. I left my job March 8th of 2018. It just wasn't even 3 months later.
Yeah. Because how do you not show sympathy for somebody who just lost a parent, right? And then going back to something you said earlier, hey, we were like family at one point, but then if I decide to put me and my family first, not everybody at the job looking at me side-eyed, like, Wait,
Well,
what?
you know what? In that in terms, when you speak on that, though, you have to speak on different leaders, different leadership. The staff
Oh,
that I was
gotcha.
with when I was in the jail was like
Okay, so
family.
that's different.
The
That's
first
different.
staff, yeah. When I transitioned
Gotcha.
into the community,
Mm-hmm.
different ball game.
Gotcha.
And I left
Gotcha.
the first place that I was at in the community, they were very home based, home like. It was like the office was in like the outer skirts of like North Georgia, very home
Gotcha.
like. But when I
Gotcha.
transitioned to the last office that I was at,
Different
different
thing.
environment, a lot of staff turnovers and issues. I mean, even
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
it's just different environments. So yes, their whole reaction,
Mm-hmm.
different reaction, and my whole
Yeah.
reaction. Because you got one time to tell me how you really feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
I'm
take
saying that,
Tyler Perry seriously. They told
and
me
I'm
who
gonna
they
believe
really
it.
was, and you know what? I believe them.
I believe you.
But let
You
me show
gotta
you how
tell me
my daughter.
twice.
Let me show you how my daddy's daughter is gonna receive that information.
I love it. I love it.
So
So
yeah, I
we good.
and it wasn't easy because I had my
Mm-hmm.
moments. Like I said, grieving. There would be days that I didn't want to post. I didn't want to, and I feel like I'm talking to somebody. There would be days I didn't want to post because I was so grieving
Mm-hmm.
my dad. I would want to curl in a ball and cry. And believe it or not, I am not emotional. I don't even like crying. But when it comes to my dad, that's
Mm-hmm.
just what it is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to post. I wouldn't want to show up in my business, but I would do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about the don't like, I didn't want to. And
Yeah.
so over the course of time, getting clients, testimonials, building the business out. It's funny that you mentioned COVID because that was our breakthrough year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurs' breakthrough years when
Yeah.
COVID was going on. They did better than they ever did before. And that's because those of us that were providing services or offering services that
Mm-hmm.
individuals may have needed, Trump was giving you all this extra money to spend.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And you were spending it, with
on
small
top of that, we
businesses.
were preparing, we were building online anyway.
Mhm.
And then when the world shut down and everything has to go online, we already there.
Yep.
Because if we
Yep.
were
already
used to
there.
social media, we were used to.
Yep.
So
Yep.
when the world was coming online, we had a 5-year head start. We had already
Yep.
been building online. We had already been doing Zooms and all this kind of stuff, marketing our businesses that way. So when the world came, we were already there, and people were used to seeing us in that space. So you're absolutely right. So I want to do this one segment before I let you get out of here. And I know you got some special offers and some things you want to share with our audience, particularly. And we got to have you back because your story is so interesting that we didn't get to know nuggets and strategies and tips for the business people. But I think the nuggets come in the humanality of one's journey into entrepreneurship. So we've got to get to freestyle because that's my favorite segment of the show. You from the Shy. When I think about the Shy, I think about Common, I think about Kanye, I think about Twister. So I know you got bars, sis. But no, that's not what freestyle is about. Is that we build this multi-billion-dollar international media conglomerate, starting with this podcast. I don't always ask the right questions. The conversations don't always go to the right place. So freestyle is your opportunity to either reiterate something that we covered that you feel is important, or if we haven't covered something, to go ahead and give them 2 minutes of whatever it is on your heart. And I want to give you this opportunity to do that. So this is freestyle, ladies and gentlemen, right now on the Cortez Hustle Show, the Janita K Jackson version. Hit them with your best bar, sis.
I know, right? So my thing is that if you're thinking about starting a business, we said this earlier, just do it. It does not have to be perfect. And as you jump out there, I want to encourage you to keep your why, the reason why you're doing it, in your heart, because sometimes we expect our friends, our families, our associates, whoever, to support us, and they don't. And some people quit without that support. You have to be stronger than that. Your why needs to be stronger than anything that you think is coming up against you, because you need to just be able to knock it down, okay? Sometimes that door isn't there, and we're just going to have to break through the wall to get to the other side, and that is okay. But you need to remain true to yourself. You need to remain true to your goals. You need to do what it takes to get the job done. You need to believe in the vision. Don't just say, I want to break generational curses, because it's a trend and you feel like that's what everybody should say, and you feel like, that's what you need to say because it's popular. Say it because you feel it in your gut and you mean it. And in the face of adversity, fight for it. Those are my bars.
Drop the mic, sis. Fight for it. Y'all listening? Fight for it. Those are bars right there. That is freestyle right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, the Janita K Jackson version. If someone wants help with their personal taxes, business taxes, financial consultation, just trying to get their budget in order, their life in order, how can you help?
We offer so many services for that, and I'm actually huge on not even just tax preparation, but also tax education and tax planning. So if you want to schedule an appointment with us, you can actually go to our website, www.infinitepotentialfinancial.com. You can give us a call at 678-553-3670. You can speak with my assistant, Maria, my lovely assistant, and she will get you on the calendar for us to talk or give you a consultation in regards to what you need. We also assist with building business credit, business funding. We help 501c3s get grant. I'm actually a grant writer, so we help 501c3s get funding as well. So I am all about helping people, pouring into them and helping them get to the next level so that they can grow and scale their business. I'm really big with that. You can follow us on Facebook at Infinite Potential Financial Consulting. On Instagram, you can follow me at The Business Empress. On TikTok, you can follow me at The Business Empress. Let me put that TM on there because I'm serious about protecting what belongs to me. But all of my social medias outside of Facebook are getting ready to be under that. On Twitter, I am actually at The Business Empress as well, but it's spelled BIZNESS because somebody has the regular spelling. Again, that TM is coming, so I'm also coming for that in a minute.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. I love it. And we know that there's a lot when it comes to business, and we definitely going to have you back because that business credit piece, that's the business financing piece. Like I'm in a class right now with Dr. Janita Watson over at NKC, and running your business by the numbers is something that we struggle with. And because of that, we can't put ourselves in position to hire our people. So my mission at Thornton Online Marketing is to help Black people become the #1 employers of Black people in the next 2 generations. We can't do that, though, if we don't have our business finances in order, because we typically run our businesses from business revenue. Everybody else runs their business from infusions of business capital, right? The Small Business Association has $300 million set aside for Black people that they can't give away because Black people can't qualify because we don't hire nobody.
Their business, not even just that we don't hire anybody, but bars, I guess, extended bars. Our businesses are not set up correctly because we were assisting people with getting capital when COVID was happening. You wouldn't believe how many people had businesses, Black people had businesses that were not set up correctly. And EIN, or let me say this, and I mean it, an EIN is not registering your business. It's not. Right. It's not the only thing that you need. It's some more steps to it. It's a good step in the right direction, but it's not. It's not the only step that you need to follow. And jumping out there and getting that first is not even the way that you're supposed to do it. So it's because we're not doing that due diligence and following those steps on the back end, where you have people that should have been eligible for funding, but were not eligible for funding because they weren't handling business correctly.
They weren't. Like Dr. George Fraser said, we were doing business and not business.
Like business, exactly.
That's different. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got to go, man. We're going to bring Janita back on, and she's going to break down business finances on a whole nother level. But the backstory is just as good as the tips and the strategy. So till we talk to you next time, we want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up. But you've got to overcome fear if you're going to win.
You're tuned into the Cortez Hustle Show. Please like and subscribe.